Uh, what's up, everybody? I'm Chris Dailey, founder of the Sports Court, joined here by none other than Premier League player and future NFL kicker, Christian Fuchs. Christian, thank you for joining the show.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mentioned future NFL kicker. We'll get to that a bit later, but you grew up in Austria and you played for a local first division side, and it wasn't until you played against the Austrian youth national team where you actually got scouted. So, what was going on throughout your mind when that coach for the national team comes up to you and says he wants you on the team?
Well, it wasn't. You're absolutely right. I think you did some great researches there. So there was a cup game between Wiener Neustadt and back then first league team Sturm Graz. And we had the game before that cup tie, which was the under 19. It was a very interesting game. We lost 4-0, I think, but we played really well. And after the game, we were getting changed, getting showered and everything. And suddenly the under 17 national team coach is standing in the door, right? And he's like, "Where's Fuchs?" I'm like, "Here. Everything okay? Yeah. Do you want to come to Ireland with us in 2 months?" Because they had can you see me?
Yeah, it's just a bit.
Can you see me? Sorry. So he was like, "Do you want to come to Ireland with us in 2 months' time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" And from then on, I went through all the letters in the Austrian national team youth system, and eventually I then played 10 years for the first team in Austria, which was incredible.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, talking about that, playing with the first team. So in 2008, you actually played in the Euros, which was the first ever Euros the Austrian national team played in, and they co-hosted the event. So describe that atmosphere, in that tournament, playing in front of a home crowd.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was hosted by Austria and Switzerland, and yeah, I mean, we didn't survive the group stage with a very unfortunate loss against Germany, where Ballack simply stroked the ball amazingly. But overall, the experience of a Euro was very impressive and was really, guiding me in some kind of way where I still need to work on me personally as a professional footballer. And it really helped me a lot because from the Euros, then I went from Austria to Germany. It was a big step for me. I learned a lot in Germany the first couple of years, especially to deal with defeats. We got relegated after 2 years in the second season with Bochum. But after that, the clubs that I played for were always at least in the top 5 to 8 in their equivalent leagues, and it was very, very good career so far.
Yeah, and I kind of skipped over something there. So at 17, you went to SV Mattersburg, and you actually played professional soccer, but you were also in the military. So I'm not sure if that's required in Austria, but you were in the military regardless. So how did you balance being, a professional soccer player and somebody in the military?
Yeah, no, it is required in Austria. It's mandatory. Yeah, it's mandatory for 6 months. Especially the first month, there's not the way around, so you have to be there every day, 24/7, from Monday to Friday. Only the weekends off. The only thing is then after this first month, they have a special system for professional players or professional athletes, where only a handful of athletes in the whole of Austria can be applied to. And luckily I was playing in the Bundesliga already, in the Austrian Bundesliga, and being professional definitely helped me in that situation. Also playing for the Austrian national team helped, and I gotta tell you, then for me it was more like, okay, I had to report.
I think you cut out. So you cut out there. We might be experiencing. Oh yeah, I think it's my internet that's bad. Oops. Not good.
I'm here again.
Yeah, sorry, I think my internet stopped. I'm not sure what just happened there.
What did you hear?
You were like talking about you like how you reported to the base with all the other athletes.
Yeah, no, I had to report every morning, and then after reporting, I was off to training already. So that helped the whole situation, the whole setup with military and being professional footballer.
Yeah, and that's crazy doing that. I know the one guy who just did that. I think it was like Kyungmin San did that in South Korea, which was breaking the internet. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is crazy." So he's on Tottenham.
Yeah.
I'm sure you played against him. He's quite a player. So yeah, you talk about going to Germany. You go to Germany and you do have to deal with relegation, but you do get loaned out to Mainz, who are supposed to be relegated, but somehow have an immaculate, insane season, and which is led by Thomas Tuchel, who's coaching PSG right now in the Champions League.
Ones that are very old school, ones that are great in terms of knowledge, but less with man management. Yeah. And then there are those coaches that are the top of the top, which are great with both, right? I think a real left back before, because in Mattersburg we played in a 3-5-2 system, so I was more of a wing back or a midfielder. Yeah. When I got to Bochum, I still had this drive to go forward more rather than literally having a mindset of a left back. But then Thomas Tuchel really changed my view on how to play this role and how to play this position, and it has been a great year for me. Not only because we were successful, most successful season with Mainz ever in the history, but also for my development to become the left back that I should be in years to come.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean he's doing some big things. I know you've done many big things too, so you guys definitely have succeeded since then. So while doing all of this as well, you become the captain of the Austrian national team. So you go from a kid that's playing on a first division side to the captain. Like, what did it mean to you to finally represent your nation and become the captain?
Well, it's always with a lot of pride when you can represent your colors, when you can represent your home country and on the highest possible level. And to top that off, being the captain for 6-7 years, I think it was at the end, and to also be the captain in 2016 at the Euros, that's simply a dream come true. That you are dreaming about from early childhood. You try to give everything, you try to achieve it, but the chances overall are very, very little. But again, in the time with Austria, there were a lot of highs, but probably far more lows, because we were not the nation that would be able to dominate any opponent. But with Marcel Koller coming in, the last 4 years of my national team career was really really successful, which I'm very much looking back to, and it really defined the national team the way it is right now.
Yeah, it's cool, and I know Austria because of Red Bull Salzburg, because I'm a New Jersey, but New York, and I know you're familiar with the area. Jesse Marsch used to be the coach at the New York Red Bulls, and now he's in Austria, which is pretty cool to see him go there. So
yeah, when they played in Liverpool, I was co-commentator for Sky Sport Austria, and I met the boys when they arrived. Spoke to Jesse Marsch a little bit before and after, and he's a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, and he's American, so he's putting American coaches on the map. So after your loan expires at Mainz, you're sold to Shawke. And speaking of Americans, Weston McKennie's the big one. He's there right now. So
yeah.
In 4 years at Schalke, you have some memorable moments, scoring that goal against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. So aside from that goal, what's your favorite memory from your days with Schalke?
It was there are a lot of good memories. If I can line up a couple of them, my first ever game for Schalke, competitive game for Schalke, was the Super Cup against Dortmund, which is a big rivalry, and it's the cup winner against the champion of the last season, and that was successful. So we won that game. So starting your career with Schalke with a win against Dortmund is very big for fans. Yeah. Simply winning against big rival is very huge for them. Yeah. Oh yeah, you see. Yeah. I don't even want to continue talking to you. Give me a break. I need to look for a Schalke scarf or jersey now. Yeah. You are a Dortmund. Oh my God! Oh my God! If I would have known that, I would never have agreed to this interview. Give me a come on.
Tell Shawke to get some more Americans on their team. I'll support where the Gio Reyna.
So, but yeah, he's good. He's also good. He's playing for Dortmund. He's a great young player as well. Yeah. But then you mentioned rightly that the Real Madrid goal was great. For me, the first year at Schalke was probably one of the nicest one, even though we didn't play Champions League. But I was honored to play with Raul, who is simply a legend and a player that I was looking up to when I was your age, when I grew up playing football, and then having this honor to play with this, I gotta say, he was a real gentleman. So having the honor to play with him, he's the top professional the way you picture it, and besides that, a very, very nice person, very humble person.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I've heard of him, and I don't even know if I've ever seen him play, but he's definitely one for the record books. So, following time with Shawke, you make the move to Leicester, and at the time, it may seem like you go from a Champions League team to a team in a relegation battle. So, like, were people kind of saying to you, like, Christian, why are you moving there? That team, Shawke is better than them. Like, what were people saying?
Not at all. And if you would know me, then you would know that I don't really care what people say.
Yeah, that's the mentality.
It really doesn't affect me. They are not chasing for me after the ball. They are not there for me when things are going well. They are not there for me in person when things are not going well. So I really don't care what the public says about what I want to do or what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, it was the right choice to go to Leicester. Yeah. Because this, of course, I was disappointed that Schalke would not extend my contract anymore, but having this experience then of making football history made me forget my disappointment very quickly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was the career, the year of my life, absolutely.
Yeah, so 5,000 to 1 odds, and from what I know, Kim and Kanye had better odds of becoming the president of the United States than Leicester did at winning the title that year. Like, when I say 5,000 to 1 odds, like, what comes to mind?
That's finding Elvis Presley alive.
Sorry, I think you cut out for a sec.
Yeah, no worries, I can repeat it. 5,000 to 1 for me, and it has been compared a lot with a certain circumstance. It's the same odds like finding Elvis Presley alive.
Oh, jeez. Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. That's crazy. I mean, that's absolutely...
So he must still be alive, no?
Maybe. I mean, there have been some funny videos. Not funny, but like, videos I've seen online. It's like people that look exactly like him working at like that whole, like what is it, like Elvis Presley like home. So that's crazy. 5,000 to 1 odds. I mean, I look at the because the fixtures just came out, and it's like the odds for teams to like get relegated. I mean, to win, and the bottom teams are at like just in the thousands. You guys weren't even close to the thousands. You were close to you were 5,000. That's that's just insane.
Yeah, I think the bookmakers never ever, or after that season, they said we're never ever gonna have odds like that high.
Yeah, we're never gonna go back into the 2000s, let alone the 5,000s. Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I lost too much money that year. So yeah, during that year, you guys were always at the top of the table. I watched a documentary on it, and the real question was, can you stay there? So, like, describe the intensity of all those training sessions with Claudio Ranieri and what the air in the locker room was like during that season.
Well, you would be confused because we were the team that has the least training sessions throughout the whole year, the team with the most days off. We were probably the team that simply had the most fun and didn't really look at what's happening or where we are, because we were never, in our own minds, we were never the favorites to win the league. So, it doesn't matter what. Again, we didn't really care what others say, and everybody was expecting us to fall and to stumble anyway. So you're in a good position because you can only surprise, right? Yeah. Of course, there's always a drive that you want to be successful and that you want to achieve the maximum, but it didn't put us under pressure. Mm-hmm. I think all the other clubs that were then complaining, they have a bad season, Yeah, but it might also be that they couldn't cope with the pressure that they put on themselves, or that the public put on themselves. So for us, it was a fairy tale. We enjoyed every single moment, and we won the league in front of Arsenal, not Tottenham. Sorry, Tottenham was not second place, it was Arsenal, 10 points ahead of them. So I think we had a very decent season with only 2 losses in 38 games. So I think that speaks its own language.
Yeah, and I know those 3 up front. I mean, Conte was the holding mid, and then Mahrez won Player of the Year. Everybody knew Jamie Vardy for his story from rags to riches. But it's like, do you think you should get more attention than Jamie, because you went from the 1st division in Austria to the Premier League?
Yeah, listen, to me it's important what the manager says. I know what the involvement of every single player was, and the players know as well. It's very natural that midfielders or that centre backs or that goalkeepers or strikers getting the most attention, especially the strikers, right?
Yeah, score the
but
goals, yeah.
being a part of that feels so good. And again, the same. You have to be confident, and the confident means you know exactly what you have achieved, or you know exactly where you're at what place, and then you don't really care about who's criticizing you, who's praising you like crazy. It really doesn't matter. The only truth is what you can put on the pitch, and that's what counts.
Yeah, and I was just joking around when I said that about Jamie, because I know his story, which is also fantastic. Worked up the ranks. So, but you're a charismatic figure in the soccer industry. You've done a video with the F2 freestylers, which officially means you've made it in life. But you've also said you have dreams of becoming an NFL kicker. So, do you still have those aspirations to potentially put on the pads and become a kicker after your soccer career is done?
Well, I've done some training, a trial training with one of those NFL kicking coaches, and it went down pretty well. When it got to 60 yards, I had 1 in 3, which is not a bad odd, not a bad quote. So, listen, why not? Why not? The way I live my life is I want to try things. I give it a go. Worst case scenario, what can happen? It's not going to work out. Okay, but at least I can say I gave it a go rather than I should have given it a go. That feeling is horrible. But if you really try it and you succeed, it's great. If you don't succeed, you cannot ever feel bad about it.
Yeah, and that's like regret.
Right?
That's like having regret kind of later in life, because people say, "Oh, I wish I did that." That's why you got to do stuff, and if you do it, you won't have that regret, even if you failed. So I would say that's a mentality to have, Christian. So I like that.
Good. I'm happy you like it. I hope you are the same way.
Yes, I am.
Well, that's why we're sitting here, because you have your own podcast. Here we go.
That's why I started this about a year ago, and now I have a sweatshirt here which says Sports Court. Yeah, so.
I like that one.
Yeah. And now, you're an entrepreneur yourself, so you've been doing things, and you've been starting businesses all around the globe. You own the Hudson Sports, but you guys bought a prison and turned it into some huge sports complex. So, what started as a summer camp expanded into this huge sports complex with teams, and now you have teams in Austria and England as well. So, what's the most challenging part about starting this sports complex, especially when you live on the other side of the pond in England?
Well, the good thing is, first of all, that my wife is over there.
Yeah.
My wife is handling the day-to-day businesses, and she's the running force for the complex. It's about time management. That's what it is. When you have football academy, like you say, the complex, the football academy in 3 different countries. When you have an esports team, a clothing, a fashion line, there's a lot going on, and then it's about, okay, when do I get to certain things so they all get the same amount of attention, right? And some things you have to prioritize more, but overall it's also trusting into other people, into the ability of others, and that might sometimes be a little bit harder because you have your own expectations, the way you want to run your companies, but it takes quite a while to find the right people, but when you have them in place, then there's no stopping.
Yeah, that's cool, and I mean, I really like what you're doing. So I see a lot of those players. I know you probably went to one of those tournaments. I saw a picture. So like I see some of your teams sometimes, like those Hudson Sports teams. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we had our Fuchs Soccer Academy team from England participating over there because they won the championship over here. So the gift for me to them, or the present, was, okay, I'll take you boys out to New York and you can play the tournament, but you have to do me one favor, just win the tournament. And that's how it happened.
Yeah, and that's cool. So you mentioned you have an esports team as well, and the clothing line, both called No Fuchs Given. So, I mean, how do you talk about time management? Like, how do you balance being a pro footballer and owning these companies? Like, what's your schedule looking like?
Well, it's fairly busy, but the last couple of months I was more in lockdown, in quarantine than anywhere else. So that gave me time to really focus on those programs. I did my home program that the club gave me. But for me, I need this. I really need it. Otherwise, I would be bored at home. I'm not the type of person that goes to training and then in the afternoon, if I wouldn't have all this stuff going on, I would not know what to do with my time. So I use it for all those kind of things. I'm trying to be as productive as possible, and it really helps me then, on the other hand, to focus on football again, because I'm really looking forward to just be on the field, chasing a ball, and that's it, right? It's my passion. It's my love that I carry with me since I was 8 months old, if I can trust my parents. But then having this balance with really being busy at home, working on all these ventures, really helps me to focus even more on football.
Yeah, it's cool, and because I mean, what I say is like productivity and consistency are the 2 most important things. Because everybody talks about motivation, and sure, it's great. You want motivation, and your motivation is to get better. That should be what your motivation is. But if you're not consistent with it, it's like what's really the point of it? And you got to be productive as well. So I really like what you just said there. And now, I mean, tracking back to soccer here, Leicester had a great season, finishing 5th. However, the coronavirus had happened, and you guys had to sit out for a while. So, like, how did you all stay fit? Because I heard you say program, like, while at home.
Well, right now I'm not able to go there, right, because I'm quarantined.
Yes.
Thank God today it's Friday. It's my last day. Tomorrow I'm all clean and past my 14 days. But the way my week looks right now is 4 days a week. I have a pretty tough home program. I'm injured at the moment, so it's mostly consisting of workout and biking. But biking is, you can bike and have fun and relax. But this biking is like 25 minutes long, and after that I always have a towel with me. And the towel I can quench. I think quenching, right, or something. I can. Yeah. It's really soaked with sweat. I know that's not the most nicest picture right now for you guys, but that's what it is. It's hard effort, and the thing is, fans or the public, they see, okay, the boys are training, and then we see them live on the weekends, but there's so much work in the background that's going into the sport. It's a 24-hour, 24/7 job, because your body, your fitness, your health is your capital, and if you don't look after yourself 24/7, then a career can be very short.
Yeah, and I mean, you make a good point. And now we have so much science too that helps. So play, not in front of fans. Like, what's the biggest difference?
Well, obviously, it's very quiet, and you hear every single sound, every single voice that every player gives from themselves. It's you really miss it. You really miss the crowd. Eventually, after a couple of games, you adapt and you adjust to it, and you get used to it, especially. Nevertheless, as much as you get used to it, you still miss it. And I really can't wait for Fuchs. This is what I missed. Yes.
Yeah. And now talking about that championship, the title win again. What's like one untold story that nobody knows that you do as a player about that, historic title win?
Yeah, so, Ranieri always had this one running joke, right, with me.
Yeah.
So he always said, when I had a bad training, he always said, bring Christian back. You are his brother, bring Christian back. So that was his nice way of telling me, listen, you really trained so bad today, you're horrible. Just come back tomorrow with more energy. It happened quite often, but that was kind of his running. He was a very nice character, to be honest. He was a very, very good gentleman. Oh yeah, here's the story about Ranieri. You ready for it?
Yeah.
So it was my birthday party, and I had the Kasabians, which is a live band, which is a rock band here. They were also, I think, in the charts, in the Billboard charts, #1 once. And they were this guy, Mike, he was singing for me live, "Happy Birthday," right? Mm-hmm. And everything was arranged on a Sunday. So eventually, our player liaison manager, John Sanders is his name, is calling me on Saturday evening saying, listen, you don't believe what just happened. Claudio Ranieri showed up at the party. He looked inside and nobody was there. So Claudio Ranieri was also invited to my party, but he came a day early. So the next day, he came again. He came to the same party again when it finally was hosted. And I gave him the mic, I put him on the spot, and I told him, boss, now you can tell everybody the story. And it was a big laughter, very big laughter. So Claudio Ranieri came to my birthday twice.
That's funny. two times in a
very nice.
Yeah. And I saw the picture of you putting the champagne on him when he was doing an interview after the game, after the win, actually. Yeah. After you guys won the title. So that was. Who do you think's gonna win, Bayern or PSG?
Bayern.
What's your score prediction? What's your go-to snack on the road?
A hot dog.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song? It's at the moment "Ring Around the Roses," because my daughter is making me sing it all the time.
I was about to say, like, is that what I think it is? And then when you said your daughter says it, so I'm like, oh, it is. But, yeah, it's funny. Anyways, what's your favorite away stadium?
Manchester United.
And in 3 words, describe yourself.
Humble, amazing looking, and funny.
That's funny. So, what's the biggest thing on your bucket list?
The biggest thing on my what?
On your, bucket list. What's one thing you would like to do that you haven't done already?
Or that I haven't done in a long time, go on holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now, do you have, any hobbies outside of playing soccer and, starting businesses?
You make it sound like they're all hobbies. Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I like to watch Netflix shows.
Because it's business, and I'm like, that kind of kills the question. I mean, I don't say that to them, but to you I'll say that. So, yeah. Now, what's your favorite Netflix show?
I was watching the Umbrella Academy.
Ooh, same. I watched the first 2 episodes. So.
No, you gotta. I watched the whole series, both series. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's 50 minutes. Like I'm a sitcom guy. Like 22 minutes, and then I'm done. But this is one thing where I'll let it slide. So I gotta watch episode 3. Just been slacking on it. So.
It's so good, and it has so many twists and turns all the time.
Yeah.
And the end of the second series is unbelievable.
Really? And now, is it gonna have a 3rd season, or is it just 2?
Yeah, it's just delayed right now due to the current situation, but there will be a 3rd, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I gotta catch up on that. So, do you have any favorite, like, American sports teams? If so, like, what are they? Who are they?
I like the Giants.
Yes. All right, and now,
New York is blue.
Yeah.
Wrong jersey, but New York is blue.
I was going to say, because the Red Bulls and New York City FC, they have the thing. It's like, is New York red or blue? But the Giants, I love the Giants. I interviewed Saquon Barkley, so I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he's like the star player. So, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Now, do you like cats or dogs?
Dogs, because I have a dog myself and I'm allergic to cats. I have a number 7 Eric Cantona signed jersey, which is unbelievable.
Yeah. And now, what does the game of soccer, football mean to you?
It's my life. It's everything. Well, it's not everything that I have, but it is what helped me to be who I am today.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, that's about all I have for you, Christian. But if you guys don't know Christian or you want to know more about him, I'll put like all the links for your businesses and stuff in the description. And Christian, I thank you for coming on, and it was a blast talking to you.
Well, the pleasure was all mine, and I hope that your podcast will pick up even more.
Thank you. And yeah, and I like your name. Christian has Chris in it, so I had to say that. But yeah, Christian, thank you so much.